True Hoop TV, we're talking tanking with ESPN's Chad Ford. How are you, sir?
Great. How are you?
Good. So listen, you have been ranking the tankers, and this week the Chicago Bulls snuck onto your list. How did that happen?
They've lost their last three, but the most important thing is that they lost Derrick Rose. And look, we know Tom Thibodeau as a coach can coach without Derrick Rose. The Bulls team made the playoffs last year without Derrick Rose. He's such a defensive genius. The Bulls will be able to make up for some of the offense that they've lost with defense. However, I just wonder in the Bulls front office if that's the direction that they really want to go. There's been questions about whether they re-signed Luol Deng. They didn't sign him to an extension. There's questions about the fact that this team is capped out Carlos Boozer as a potential amnesty candidate. And you wonder, with Rose being 25 years old, do they decide, look, this is a rare opportunity for us to go lose a lot of games, pick up a high draft pick, clear our cap and be able to make another big splash in free agency and come back with a young basketball team that still has veterans on it, but just insane talent to play out the second half of Derrick Rose's career. And I think that would be an enticing move by the Bulls. Remember, this happened a long time ago with the San Antonio Spurs when the Admiral, David Robinson, went down with an injury. They end up winning the number one pick in the draft and come back with a healthy David Robinson and a healthy Tim Duncan, and it set the Spurs up for a long, long run in the NBA. And I just wonder if that's going to be something that the Bulls might consider. I know that's not what Tom Thibodeau is going to want to consider, and that the friction that already exists between the front office and him could increase dramatically. But I think for the long-term health of the franchise, that might be a better way to go than squeaking by with a 4th or 5th seed in the East and a first-round exit in the playoffs.
So that Spurs team with David Robinson injured, right? They were a 60-ish win team. They dipped down just for a year or half a year, got Tim Duncan. Depending how you analyze it, that's the only team that's ever tanked for a championship. The Thunder haven't done it yet. It's hard to find any other team that's ever tanked and ended up. So this is the playbook, right? This is the only existing playbook of here's how you can win a title. Basically take an excellent team and end up high in the lottery.
Yeah, and just think all those positive things that we say about the Spurs, night in and night out, about RC Freefield, it all depends on this one thing, them getting Tim Duncan with the number one pick in the draft, and never happens if David Robinson goes down, and then never happens again if they don't win a ping pong battle, at the lottery. And yeah, there's a risk, but this draft is different. This isn't a one-player draft. The Bulls don't have to get the number one pick. They can get a pick in the top 5, top 6, and really be set up to add another significant piece to the puzzle for the Bulls.
All right, two teams not in your top 10 are both from New York City, the Knicks and the Nets. They're terrible. They all have 3 wins, but why aren't they on your list?
They both traded away their picks, and because of that, we can't list them on a tank rank when they have zero incentive to tank because it only helps another team. It doesn't help them. The Knicks trading their pick is a little bit more defensible. They sent it to Denver in the Carmelo Anthony trade, and I think even if you went back now and asked them, would you do that deal again, every Knicks fan, along with James Dolan, would say, yeah, we'd do that. We'd give up the chance to win the 2014 number 1 to get Carmelo Anthony. And so that's defensible, and the trade was several years ago. It was in 2011. The Nets made their trade this summer with the Boston Celtics, and that's what got them washed up Paul Pierce and looked like a washed up Kevin Garnett and Jason Terry and others, with an expectation that they would be contending for an NBA championship this year. It certainly doesn't look like that's going to be the case for the Nets. I think they can be better than the way that they've played early in the season, but I don't see them in the same stratosphere as a team like the Indiana Pacers or the Miami Heat right now. And this could be extremely costly for the Nets. And the other little twist there is this pick may not end up with the Celtics. The Celtics actually made a trade for the Nets had made a trade for Joe Johnson And in that trade, they had allowed for a swap of picks with the Atlanta Hawks. And so the pick that the Celtics have could be the Nets pick or it could be the Hawks pick. The Hawks get to decide what they get. So it could be the Atlanta Hawks are the team that's benefiting the most right now from the Brooklyn Nets struggling the way that they're struggling.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, last thing, quick thing. Out of all these teams in the top of your tank rankings, talking Jazz, Bucks, Cavaliers, Sixers, Magic, Celtics, Kings, Bobcats. Let's stop there. Out of those top 8 in your tank rankings, which team's going to be good first, do you think?
That's a tough that's a tough one. I'll tell you, though, I look at Philly, and I say, hey, look, you've got Michael Carter-Williams, who looks like he's going to run away with Rookie of the Year and is a 6'6" point guard who has so much talent. I still like Nerlens Noel a lot. He's probably not going to play this year, but I think he can come in and be a big-time shot blocker right away. They could end up with the number 1 pick in the draft. I still think that at the end of the day, the Sixers, maybe the Jazz will finish with the worst record, but they'll be right there. And then they also have the New Orleans Pelicans pick in this draft as well, which is likely going to be a lottery pick. They're going to step back on the floor next year with 4 lottery picks. They're going to have a ton of cap space. And I think this could be one of those teams where they are the up-and-coming young team in the NBA, even next season.
All right, Chad Ford, thank you very much.